Hello and welcome back, everybody. Right off the bat, I want to thank everyone for the support they've been showing and for getting my first Friday breakdown to 1,000 views. That's super awesome, and I'm so happy to see more people subscribing to the channel and enjoying the breakdown so far. Today we are looking at Friday the 13th Part 3, the first and only Friday to be in 3D. That could have been cool, but the filmmakers leaned too much into filming unnecessary things to get some 3D effects, which unfortunately just come out kind of silly most of the time. This movie was also meant to end off the series in a trilogy, but the fact that it knocked Steven Spielberg's E.T. off the #1 box office list is what probably persuaded the filmmakers to keep making more, and make more they did. Okay, that's enough background, let's get into the breakdown. We start this film the same way as the last one, with a long-ass recap of the ending of the previous movie. These editors need to learn how to trim the fat. We see a wounded Jason start to crawl away, and then zoom into Pamela's head. We are then treated to an amazing title track. Groovy! We're now at some random nearby store where we meet the owners. The first is Harold, who's using the stick to try to make some 3D. We meet his wife Edna, who's watching the end of Friday the 13th Part 2. Meta. Harold goes to check on his rabbits, but finds them dead. Who could have done that? Probably the snake. Another look at a cheap 3D gimmick. This snake literally scares the shit out of Harold, making him have to rush to the bathroom for a quick number 2. After he's done taking his dump, Jason congratulates him with a cleaver to the chest. Edna goes to check on him and gets a sewing needle, I think, stabbed right through her head. We get to the part where we meet our main characters. We see a van roll by and we're introduced to Chris Huggins, Andy, his girlfriend Debbie, who's pregnant, although that doesn't really matter at all this whole movie. Andy's roommate Shelly is also with them, and he sucks, seriously.
Pardon, I'm not an asshole. I'm an actor. Same thing.
They're trying to set him up with a blind date, Vera, who isn't interested in him at all. They do have a couple of stoners in the back of their van, Chuck and Chili. The whole gang is going to Higgins Haven, which is Chris's old home, for a little vacation. The group makes it to Higgins Haven, and they all go to unpack. Chris walks into the main home and is grabbed by her boyfriend, Rick, who just starts smacking on her lips. Dude, chill out. The group of teens then all go out and do different things together. Rick and Chris specifically are goofing off at a barn when they then hear a scream. Chris runs off to check it out, and when opening a closet, Shelly falls out with a hand axe in his head, falling to the ground. This understandably freaks out Chris, who screams, gathering everyone together. Andy, being Shelly's roommate, knows that he likes to pull pranks. He leans over and reveals to everyone that the axe is fake, and then Shelly starts to laugh. Chris is super pissed off and runs away. Vera asks to borrow Rick's car so that she can go to the gas station. He gives her his keys and she starts to leave. Shelly really wants to go with her, but she doesn't let him at first. Eventually, she does change her mind, and Shelly and her go away to the gas station. At the gas station, Vera and Shelly run into this weird biker gang of 3. The gang includes Lulu, Fox, and Ali. They hassle Vera and Shelly, who eventually leave. Shelly, who's driving, reverses right into the gang's motorcycles. Ali witnesses this and then breaks their car window with a chain. Shelly tries to be cool and goes back and runs over Ali's motorcycle. This does seem to impress Vera, however. Back at Higgins Haven, we get some more poor attempts at 3D, with Andy playing with a yo-yo. Shelly and Vera return and Rick is annoyed that his car windows are all busted out. Understandably. He wants to leave as he doesn't find it worth it anymore to hang out with Chris. She convinces him to stay and they go out for a little ride. Also, there's the camera crew. Say hi. The small biker gang from earlier shows up to Higgins Haven, and Lulu barks like a dog. Okay. They start to siphon some gas from the teen's van that they plan to use to set the barn on fire as payback. Fox leaves Ali and Lulu at the van and then goes to explore the barn. Lulu goes to check on her and finds her dead, impaled by a pitchfork into a post. Lulu doesn't have much time to react before getting impaled with a pitchfork himself. Ali finally goes to check on them after having a full can of gas and finds his 2 comrades dead. He gets attacked by Jason and after a bit of a fight is knocked out. Jason looks out the window and sees Andy walking on his hands. Wonder if that will come back later. Rick and Chris are together alone, and she reveals why she hasn't been back in a while to visit him, and why Shelly's prank scared her so bad. She tells him that 2 years ago she was attacked by a deformed man, Jason, and then just blacked out and woke up in her bed? Well, that's weird, and that's the only background on that story that we get at all. So, That's nice. The rest of the group are in the main house having some fun. After all this excitement, Vera goes off to sit at the dock alone. A hand comes out of the water and grabs her ankle. It's just Shelly with a hockey mask scaring her as a prank. Vera is obviously upset that he scared her, but she's still nice to him, and she tries to explain that people don't like him just because he's him, but it's because of all these pranks that he does. Shelly just feels bad for himself and goes off alone to a barn after hearing some noises. Unfortunately for him, the noises are Jason, and he slits his throat. He then takes the hockey mask for himself, turning it into a pop culture and horror icon. Vera has Shelly's wallet from earlier and accidentally drops it into the lake. She goes in to get it, and then Jason is standing at the dock. She mistakes him for Shelly at first, but then realizes pretty quick that it's not him. He has a harpoon gun and shoots Vera in the eye. A pretty good kill and one of the better 3D effects. Debbie is taking a shower when Andy asks her if she wants a beer. She says yes. Wait, weren't you pregnant? Whatever, who cares? Andy decides that the best way to travel is on hand, and quickly realizes that he's in a bad situation. We get one of the best Friday the 13th kills when Jason slices straight down into Andy's gonads. Jason then decides to hide under Debbie's hammock and waits for her to lay down. While laying down, she sees Andy's body, which I can't show, and then Jason gets a 2-for-1 after stabbing Debbie through the back and out the chest. The power then goes out and Chuck and Chili are in the kitchen. Chuck goes out himself to check the power generator, and Jason slams his face into it, electrocuting him to death. Chili then runs into a somehow still alive Shelly. She mistakes his real slit throat as makeup since he's always doing those pranks. Hashtag's just a prank, bro. She finally realizes that he's actually dead and starts to freak out.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Jason doesn't like the Lord's name used in vain and stabs her through the gut with a fire poker. Chris and Rick finally get back to the house and find out that things are out of whack and that no one is there. Rick decides just to leave Chris alone so he can go look for everyone outside. This was a mistake as Jason has a hold of him now. We get an epic 3D head smash thanks to Jason. Chris finds evidence of foul play and goes to look for Rick. We get to the final girl's circuit and she starts finding bodies everywhere, with Rick's literally being thrown her way. We then have a chase scene that actually has some cool and memorable sequences. Hell yeah, those were awesome! The two end up in the upper part of the barn, and Chris knocks out Jason with a shovel, and then wraps a rope around his neck and hangs him. He seems dead, but Chris, better be careful, since this is the moment where the supposedly dead killer comes back to life, for one last scare. Jason then takes his mask off, for some reason? And yeah, I know people say it was to take the rope off his neck, but right here, it's already over the mask, coming off, so that doesn't make any sense. But then again, the Wikipedia says that's why he does it, and Wikipedia is never wrong. Jason then goes after Chris, and then Ali is somehow still alive and tries to fight him off. He immediately gets his hand chopped off by Jason, and then is finished off with a machete. Nice effort though. During all this, Chris sees an axe and goes for it. She takes it and hits Jason right in the noggin, and then we get this awesome moment. Again, hell yeah! He does eventually fall to the ground, presumably dead. Chris takes a cue from Alice and takes a canoe to the middle of the lake. We then get this silly scene. Followed by Chris getting scared by a log, a duck, and then Pamela's undead corpse. Gnarly. The police show up at the house and Chris is with them. She doesn't seem to be wet at all, so it can be safely assumed that she imagined everything that just happened in the lake. The police then take her to safety. Or maybe they take her to a loony bin. Who knows? We get a shot of Jason's dead body and then a final shot that lingers on the lake. Roll credits! And that was Friday the 13th Part 3. It's a fun one. Steve Miner directed this film as well as the second one, and somehow made the two feel completely very different. This movie also introduced Jason with a hockey mask, a character feature that has carried on into every Friday film since this one. This is a great movie to watch if you just want to relax and see some goofs and some kills. Although the effects to make 3D don't really hold up, I feel like it gives the movie some character and is just fun to make fun of, at the very least. Tuesday we'll be looking at Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. The first Friday the 13th that I ever saw as a wee lad. Make sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more future breakdowns. Have a good one.